Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Kelsey and this is Zero to Hero, where I talk to you guys about how we can all reduce our impact on planet Earth in our everyday lives. Today's video topic is going to be all about eating sustainably in winter, and basically what that boils down to is eating seasonally. There is a really good chance that eating seasonally is not something that comes naturally to you. When we shop at the grocery store, there's pretty much the same stuff in it all year long. Prices might change. Some things are definitely going to get more expensive depending on the season, but the same stuff is always going to be there. Unfortunately, just because it's there doesn't mean it's something that makes any kind of sense to eat, especially if you're trying to reduce your environmental impact. Now, it sounds kind of silly, but eating seasonally basically boils down to pretending that you're eating locally even if you can't afford to or if there's no good farmer's market where you live. When I say pretending to eat locally, basically what I mean is eating mostly, or even better, entirely, food items that would have been in season and widely available in the region in which you live in a world without airplanes and refrigerated transport trucks. Let's start with the easy ones, which is that root vegetables are available all year long. So that's going to be your carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, onions, all those goodies that get pulled up out of the ground, you wash the dirt off them before you eat, those are available all year long. Yes, there is a difference between sweet potatoes and yams, but I don't care what you call them, they're always in season. A couple of really good above ground winter vegetables are Brussels sprouts and then also kale, which this surprised me, but kale is not only available during the winter, but it's actually going to be sweeter and less bitter. A good classic option is one of your winter squashes. So it's going to be things like acorn, spaghetti, butternut squash, and then of course, pumpkin. For those of you who have never had it, spaghetti squash is a really great option for anyone who's trying to go low carb. So whether that's you or somebody that you know and love, when you cut it open, it actually has on the inside a very spaghetti-like texture, which is where it gets its name. You just pour on the sauce and you're good to go. I've had it and it is delicious. One of my favorite things to make during the winter months is butternut squash pie. It's delicious, it tastes almost exactly like pumpkin pie, but there's something really satisfying about taking a whole giant vegetable and turning that into pie yourself. It's a little more satisfying than using the cans of pumpkin you can get from the store. Now we get to the part that some of you were probably a little bit concerned about, and that is the fruits. I am happy to tell you that you do not need to worry. One of your best winter options is going to be all of the citruses. In case you didn't know, grapefruit actually ripens in January. And then on top of that, you have, your tangerines, mandarins, clementines, oranges, all of that good stuff. And of course, if you live in, say, Maine, you probably don't have any citrus trees anywhere near you, but if you're going for these things in winter, instead of something that is completely out of season in the northern hemisphere, then at least you know you're probably just going to be getting it from a few states south. Another really excellent one that's at its best during winter is pomegranates, and then of course you have your classic apples and pears that are all ripening in the coldest months. Alright, now I want to get into things to avoid. So anything on this list are things that are highly seasonal, and if you see them in the fresh produce section of your grocery store in the dead of winter, you can pretty much guarantee that it was flown into you from somewhere very, very far away. The first one on this list is asparagus. Asparagus belongs to the springtime. Not only is it highly seasonal, but as soon as you cut those stems, they start to lose a lot of the properties that make them really, really delicious. So when you have to refrigerate them and store them and transport them from far away, what you're going to have is not only asparagus with a very high carbon footprint, but asparagus that is tough and chewy, and nobody wants that. If you're looking for a crunchy, yummy winter green, Brussels sprouts are a perfectly good alternative to asparagus until those springtime months come. One of the biggest ones, and probably my number one, is berries. There is a reason that little teeny tiny container of raspberries is $6 in January, and that's because it was probably flown in from Argentina. That is a long plane ride for a teeny tiny amount of fruit. Your best option here is just frozen berries. It means that they were picked when they were ripe, frozen right away, and now you get to enjoy them all year long. My next big one, and the one that's the biggest struggle for me personally, is tomatoes. Tomatoes are a fruit of the summertime. The best thing you can do if you are like me and you crave tomatoes at all hours of the day, every single day, is to get them canned, jarred, or sun-dried. Canned and jarred tomatoes are really good for making soups and sauces and things like that, and sun-dried tomatoes are excellent for sandwiches and pizzas and things like that. Peaches. Peaches, like the tomato, are inarguably a fruit of the summertime. If you really need to have them during the winter, once again, probably frozen and canned are good options, and there are always plenty of them. And then my last couple ones are watermelon, or any of the melons. I don't have an alternative because I don't like melon. I would suggest eating something tastier. And then finally, corn on the cob. I personally didn't expect this one, but corn on the cob is very, very seasonal. And if you are trying to eat that in the winter, all I have to say to you is, what are you doing? Corn on the cob should be eaten in one situation, and that is fresh off the grill on a beautiful summer day. That stuff has no business in the winter months. None at all. No doubt my best piece of advice to you is to eat with tradition. If you are following traditional recipes, you're probably going to be pretty good to go. Okay? There's a reason that we have corn on the cob and watermelon in the summertime, and we spend our entire winter months chowing down on apple pie. That's all I had for today. I hope this video is helpful as a quick little guide to eating seasonally in the winter. As always, please let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, ideas for future videos. Makes me so happy when you guys comment, like, and subscribe. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time.